Hello everyone, Power Tribe. Welcome to the session, second one of the month of March. And yeah, we're in for the roller coaster ride that we've been promised for a while, and now it's upon us. So this session it's going to be very much getting back to basics, to the practices that we know, all of us know, hi Danny, that allow us to first be aware of the things that we're still holding on to unconsciously, the things that we didn't want to feel before, that are still pushed somewhere in our fields, then in whatever way we can, not to resist them anymore, because we want to be aware of those little balls of energy and of experience that we still have in our fields, because they are creating our reality. So allow them to come to the surface, allow them to move through us unresisted, to be brought back into, be brought back home into our core, into our life energy systems again, and then from a new, more whole place, set our course for our energy, really deliberately decide what do we want to live, what do we want to experience, what do we want to create, regardless of the circumstances, of anything that we might see outside of us, and anything even that we might feel inside of us, because we know that whatever is trapped inside of us is still circumstantial, so it's still something from the past that happened. So it's the same as a memory, and it might be a fear that's projecting toward the future. It's still a circumstance. It's not dictating what's right or what it's wrong. It's just showing us the energy that we still have not brought into wholeness, into integration. We still didn't want to feel it. So it's almost like a little kid saying, pay attention to me now, please. Can I have your love? And yes, now is the time. Now we can give it that love. So we can then very deliberately, consciously choose, what do we want to experience? Hi Judy, thank you for joining live as well. So we will be doing this. You know how to do this. We have the tools. We just have to do them now. It's almost like I had this very clearly as a feeling experienced yesterday as I was going through a shopping center, one that has an IKEA. I love IKEA. Yeah, then you might be a little tired of it, but I do love IKEA. And I was going through a shopping center to get some things. It's easy because all the stores are there. And I was thinking it was so weird that big of a shopping center that's usually filled with people was pretty much empty, and especially at a time where it should have been full, it was empty. And I was just going through, kind of distracted. But when I got out, a few conversations lingered in my ear, and I realized, oh, this is empty because people are freaked out of their minds. They're not even coming to public places anymore because they're so scared. And I can tell I'm still feeling it. Tears were coming to my eyes for the level of fear-mongering and pandemic, that all of that stuff that has been brought up in the news. And it might be other things, the financial situation, the coronavirus situation, everything is just bringing up a lot of fear in everyone. And the sadness for me was it was resonating with some of the fears of powerlessness that I still had, that were just kind of lurking underneath the surface, and I was seeing them come up and just allowing them to unresisted flow. And there was also a sadness for the feeling that most of humanity still feels, even if we know better, even some of us, some of the times, we know that things aren't random. Life isn't random. Whatever virus you catch or don't catch, whatever happens in the economy and how it affects you, it's not random. Nothing in our lives is random. Everything follows a smooth path. Everything is co-created by us and through our own higher, broader perspective for the experiences that we are choosing to have and to integrate, bring more of our power back from. So nothing on this planet, nothing that happens in our reality is random, but most people think it is. And so that's what creates this fear of the I'm just going to speak about the coronavirus, for instance, that there's something out there that can catch me, can get me, can kill me, and it's random. I feel powerless. I don't even know what's happening or if I'm at risk or not. This is the state that most people are in, and that's why things are escalating the way that they are. I'm not saying that it's an innocuous virus, but I'm just sharing on what came up for me as well as I was processing through things yesterday, is that this interesting virus, interesting not in the sense of being light about it, but it feels that it's creating a few things. First, it attacks lungs and the respiratory system. This, from traditional Chinese medicine, is grief. It's the place where we store our grief and our sadness. So the virus is pretty much, you know, what the fires did in Australia. It brought up as well a lot of grief, a lot of heart opening for people to be more loving, to be more together. This virus is attacking energetically at that level of grief again. So it's bringing it to the surface. It's forcing the lungs, the respiratory system to purge that grief, that sadness that we've been pushing down. We don't want to feel it. Dear Lord, no, keep it at bay. No, it's still there energetically. And this is bringing it to the surface on a really large scale. Another thing that I feel this is doing is it's going to start pushing us away from animal products consumption, or at least as big a reliance on animal products consumption as we have now, because this virus is coming from wild animals. It's coming from us kind of invading their turf and making food choices that really aren't as useful for us now. So it will start bringing us out of our dependence of animal products. And if not because of the virus itself, because of the economy, because it will be harder to find these products, and we'll see that, yeah, I better not rely as much on that. So it's all working perfectly to get us towards the other side that we all, on a broader perspective, know that we want to get to. Another thing that's interesting about this little, again, I don't want to make little of the situation, but the virus itself, it's called a coronavirus. So it's a virus that's in its own structure. It looks like it has a little crown on top. And this feels very symbolic as well, because it's creating a situation where we have to rely on our vertical connection, on our intuition, on our inner guidance. So whatever comes through our crown, our higher dimensions of self, our perspective, it's pushing us as well to be masters of manifestation, of trusting ourselves, of being self-reliant, of being sovereign in our decisions. So it's helping us move from childhood of focusing on what's happening outside and letting that dictate how we feel, and the decisions that we make come out of just looking outside and being lazy about our internal state. And it's forcing us to, okay, I'm going to withdraw my attention from what's happening. I'm still noticing what's happening, but it's not going to dictate how I feel, what I do, and how I am carrying myself internally, energetically. I'm going to tune in and focus on my own guidance. And this is a huge step forward towards becoming a master of creation, of manifestation. And it felt to me yesterday that we are at that time now. We've been talking about this for a while and in spiritual circles, even for a lot longer, that there's a time in the future where we're going to witness a shift, almost like a rift is going to happen. And there's a part of reality that's going to go in still the powerless direction of things spiraling down, because that's a potential choice, and whoever in terms of souls and consciousness wants to experience that, nothing is wrong on a broader perspective. So it's still a valid choice. It's going to be there, but there's going to be as well a big chunk of people of consciousness that make a different choice. So this would be what's being called now the new earth, choosing our environment, creating from the inside out, knowing that, owning that, living that way instead of just knowing it rationally but then doing something else in our day-to-day. No, we embody that and we live from that perspective. And this is the new work, the anchoring on the 5D, 6D, and all the way on upwards. We've always put this in the future. It's happening, it's now. Felt to me that, yep, the future actually is now. So now is the time that we make a choice. We either want to continue to put more power on outside circumstances and let them dictate how we feel, and then of course create from the same what is more stuff that will feel exactly the same way, or probably will go spiraling down because energy now moves so fast. Or we start, okay, growing up, bring our attention, our focus to our vertical guidance, to our core. We stay centered in ourselves so that we are not swayed by the outside circumstances. We understand them, we see them, and we feel an anchoring of our own well-being first and foremost. And then of course we'll have to purge what's still in our field, the sadness, the fear, the powerlessness. And that's what we'll be doing now. We allow the energy to flow through us unresisted. It's almost like we become transparent to whatever it is that we're feeling. We acknowledge it, we accept it, we love it back into our core, and we set our aim toward what it is that we do want to feel. So yeah, this felt like a little bit of a off my chest, because I'm feeling passionate about this. This is a time now where we make a choice. We either choose to continue as victims, powerlessness, or we choose to actually grow up and be the masters of our vibration. And this, it does not imply force in any way, shape, or form. Just implies awareness to what's happening, non-resistance, allowing everything to come to the surface without feeding the story, without wallowing in it, just feeling the energy start to release, because it's going to be faster and faster as well because of the energy acceleration. And at the same time, choose what is it that I want to experience. I'm getting hot. Excuse me. With all this energy flowing through. So, with that said, let's, like Kyle C says, let's get on the treadmill instead of hearing how the treadmill works and how workout is good for you and for your health. Let's actually do it. So, choose something. I'm going to suggest maybe thinking of something that is important to you, that you want to live, that you want to create, but that you either feel that you can't, you don't know how, you're afraid of what other people will think, or something even in anything that I described that feels scary to you. Just bring to your mind something that you want to use as a trigger for the discomfort that's still there, wanting to come to the surface and to be acknowledged and loved back into wholeness. And if you don't have anything specific, because it might happen, well, I'll give you the instructions for that later, but bring a feeling of excitement inside of you, of something big. I want to do this big thing, this very exciting thing that I'm passionate about. Even just triggering that type of a feeling, and we can trigger whatever feeling states we want, will rattle the lower frequency, things that are still keeping our energy way down. So there's nothing wrong with feeling these things, but it's just an awareness that as we start to expand and feel more of that excitement, of that passion of I'm going for this that I really want, a relationship, a work-related thing, a money-related thing, a health-related thing, anything, a passion, something that excites you, that feel like, yes, really want, a soul desire. Something that excites you, that you feel passionate about, is a soul, necessarily, desire. So anything that we feel that way, that then we start second-guessing, we start feeling the doubt, we start feeling the brakes being put on, that's a good thing. It's just showing that you expanded, and the thing that is almost here, pulling still at your energy, not allowing it to go further than this, is coming to the surface. And what we want to do with that is just allow it to come to the center and just flow through us unresisted. That way we gain more life force, and our energy starts expanding more and more and more in the direction of what we are choosing to create. So at this point in time, you may have something in your mind, or if you don't, doesn't matter. You can create that feeling of excitement still and see what happens. Let's just ground. So focus on your root chakra, base of your spine, and just imagine that you have a sphere of energy, powerful energy there in your pelvic area, at your root chakra. And imagine that you're breathing in and out through it. You breathe in to that sphere, you breathe out of that sphere. And now just imagine that the energy from that sphere is branching out and it's moving down your legs through the center of your legs, so creating like two cords that's moving down, two beams of energy if you want, down your legs, through your feet, starting to connect into the earth. Continue focusing on the root chakra as well, but feel the tingling maybe on your feet, connecting you to the earth and connecting to the center of the earth. And now feel energy coming up from the earth, up through your feet, up through your legs, up through your root chakra, and starting to just light up in the center of your body. So in your core, you're just feeling the energy starting to flow up through you. You can feel it as well coming out of your head, connecting you to your higher dimensions of self. And then you feel the descending current. So this is the manifestation current. You feel the energy coming from your higher dimensions of self, entering through the top of your head, center of your body, in the core, moving down through all the chakras to the root chakra, and then down through your legs, connecting you to the earth as well. And at the center of all this, just start putting your awareness on your chest, on your heart chakra. Imagine that you have a sphere of energy there, powerful, mixing the energy from above and from below. And you're breathing in and out through it. And as you breathe in and out through your heart chakra, it starts to just radiate more strongly. Power up your energy field even more, as well as harmonizing your brain and your heart and your gut as well. So just keep on breathing in and out through that sphere at the center of your heart, letting it just expand until whatever feels comfortable for you right now. It will just find its natural landing size. And now bring that thing that you wanted to create, that you feel passionate about, or even a desire to be passionate about something that you're not even aware of what is. Bring that feeling of desire, of passion, of excitement, of being on, I don't know how to put this into words, but that type of feeling. If you have something in mind, bring that situation to your mind, that circumstance, that desire. If not, bring that feeling itself of excitement, of desire, of wanting something. Bring it up inside of yourself. Or even that desire of just being the deliberate, conscious, aware creator of your life. No bars held back. Full on. and scan your body. Just notice if there's anything there that just felt like a little bit of a contraction, a little bit of a fear, a little bit of a doubt. That's perfect. It's perfect because it's just showing you, it's just information, it's just feedback that you did expand your energy and you came up against one of those stops. Not stops as in stop, but stops as in the limiter of your energy. It's almost like you have an elastic band that's pulling on your energy. So we just became aware of it. And now, what do we do with it? You have so many tools now. You can do whatever you want. You can just imagine that you're bringing that energy into your core very lovingly. That's bringing it back home. You're pushing it away now, but your core is home for all of your energy. So you can just imagine that you're bringing it into the center of your body, gently, lovingly, with your intention, or with your hands if you want. Your intention is magnetic. You can imagine that your core itself is like a magnet, is drawing that energy back into its vertical flow. You can breathe through the sensation. If it feels very tight and dense, you can breathe through it. Just start untangling the energy, giving it more of a spaciousness that makes it easy for energy to move. Energy does not want to stay stuck, it wants to move. So as you breathe through it, you're bringing more consciousness to it, you're bringing a greater spaciousness, and it starts naturally moving towards your core as well. Or you can imagine that you're sending heart-loving energy to that place in your body where you feel the constriction of whatever sort. Or you can try something, and this is something that I've been doing now very constantly through the days, and I whether I auto-refer it to myself is just being transparent. You become transparent to the sensations that you're feeling. So it's an unresisted state. So you're feeling something uncomfortable, and the tendency usually is to contract around it, or try to fix it, or try to do something about it. All of these have their place, and they can work depending on what comes up, of course. But there's also that potential, that possibility of just almost becoming transparent, like becoming like air. So you can have a balloon floating through air, completely unresisted. You can have steam floating through air, which is much lighter, completely unresisted. You can have a thick piece of lead that you throw up through air, completely unresisted. We become almost like air inside of us, transparent and completely unresisting things. It's a feeling state, and I'm not sure if I'm putting it to words in a useful way, but I am modeling energetically how I'm doing it. So on a subconscious level, at least, you'll feel what it is like. It's really a state of, oh, I'm feeling uncomfortable here. Focus almost on the spaces in between your cells, if that helps, and just let everything move, almost like if you're empty inside, just pure air. There it goes. Yes, okay, and you can do this as things come up. You can breathe through them, you can focus your loving attention, you can focus on it and try to understand it, but at this point in time, it's going to be rare that it's necessary for you to know what's coming up. If information about the sensation is useful for you, it will flash in your mind. You'll have direct knowing of it. So it's just, oh, I'm feeling this. You just know. You expanded your energy towards something that's important to you, and you just found one of those limiters, those elastic bands, that's just helping you be more aware of something to integrate that will help you fully expand into that desire. That might be something that you interpret as the fear of people rejecting you, fear of people attacking you, criticizing you, fear of people doing this or not loving you or abandoning you, fear of your physical safety. It might be a lot of things, but in the end it's just one. You are wanting to expand, and these are limiters that are coming to your awareness just to be loved and accepted, brought into the core to actually power you up, fuel you up. You're rejuvenating, actually, as you do this. You're bringing your energy from being scattered, you're bringing it back here. You're becoming more powerful, more condensed isn't the right word, or more focused, like a laser, instead of being scattered. That's what old age is about. You start to put different pieces of yourself, pieces of your consciousness, start scattering them, because you don't want to feel this and then this and then this and then this, and you start segregating more of yourself, and there's not a lot left for your body, for your mind, for your energy system to actually live a healthy, vital, passionate, exciting, deliberate life. As we bring all of these little bits and pieces back to the center, to the core, we start refocusing our energy. We start regenerating our health, our mind's ability to just be calm and quiet and focused on what we want. Our emotions start to become much more stable and much more higher in terms of frequency than the anxiety. No, they start to range mostly in a neutral to positive expectation to excitement, and then we can dip a little bit here or there, but it's just going to be feedback of something else that we can bring to the core. So anything that happens outside, it's just a gift for us to see, oh, okay, I'm still reacting to something. It means that I have more energy that I can bring here, so I can become more focused, I can become younger again, I can become more powerful, and with the added benefit now of having that vitality that you had when you were a child, but with the knowledge, with the wisdom that you didn't have at that time, with the self-awareness, with the desires for creation that you didn't have then. Now we can have that. So just let's do it again. Bring something to your mind, maybe the same thing that you want to create, or just bring that feeling of excitement of deliberately creating your life, or deliberately creating that thing that you really want to experience, that you know just feels like, yes, let's do it, or let's allow it. That's even better. Just take a little bit of time to really conjure up the feeling inside yourself, because the more excited you get, the more the fears will be clear as well, which is a good thing. Yet again, it's just showing you where you have more of your energy to bring from those pockets that are out in your field. Bring them back to just become your life force, your fuel again. And just notice if something contracted in your field. And if it did, You know what it is? It's just a part of your consciousness, like a little kid wanting, and probably from your childhood, because most of things that we are now working with come from that time. Even our fear of rejection, a fear of being criticized, our fear of not being able to take care of ourselves comes from childhood, when we didn't have the tools or the know-how of how to create our lives deliberately. And of course we were dependent on adults. We've just changed parents for government, for weather, for doctors, for whatever. And it's time to now grow up, bring that part of our energy back online, love it back into wholeness so it can be part of our flow again, and just decide, what do I want to create? We have the mastery to create whatever state of being inside ourselves we want. And from that deliberate focus on what we want, and just noticing whatever comes up that feels like a fear or a doubt or a contraction, welcome it back home into our core, continue, focus on what we want, bring whatever else comes up back home to our core, continue, deliberate focus on what we want. Saying it like this almost sounds tiring, but it isn't. You can make this into a game even, of okay, I'm just going to play with desire now. This is something that I want. And we have been fearful. I know I have, and I know it's something more broad, fearful of actually feeling our desires, because there's been a lot of pain of not being able to achieve them. But at this point in time, we don't really. Well, first, we don't have a choice, because if we continue to ignore our desires, we're just going to continue to be focused outside and just create more of the same. Second, it's so much easier now for us to actually feel the pain of the past disappointments and hurts, and just allow it to move through us, either unresist it or bring it to your core or breathe through it and know that it just moves fairly fast now. So it's not something that you'll have to be pining for days. No, it's just usually a matter of minutes before we can actually integrate a huge part of our energy back and come from a whole new level of wholeness. And then we can start actually enjoying our desires. Not being locked on manifestations yet, but just enjoying the feeling of desire, that feeling of excitement about something new. And that is a very life-giving energy as well. So the more that we can enjoy our desires without really paying much attention to when they are manifesting or how they are manifesting, it's just the pure feeling, raw feeling of just desire, of excitement, of passion, of new energy flowing through us. The more we enjoy that, the easier it is for everything to come to us. Got a little sidetracked here. Yes. I really want to share this today. So whatever you're feeling, just unresist it. I like the feeling of air now, because this is part of my intention of how I want to walk in my day, pretty much all throughout my day, as much as I can become aware of, okay, I'm feeling something uncomfortable, like air. Unresist it. Let it flow. Be okay with the discomfort. In what I mean by that is really, don't push against it, don't resist it, just either breathe through it, bring it to your core, or if you just want, unresist it. Let the energy just flow freely, because a lot of it might not even be our energy, and sometimes we're trying to fix something. It isn't ours. This unresisted attitude, it's very useful, at least the way that I'm seeing it now, because it just lets everything flow, and it strengthens. It's almost like a workout for our nervous system to actually be able to flow more and more energy, because that will help us then ground more and more powerful intention, desire, energy to create what we want. And so with that, let's just finish, because we could be here for a long time. Just keeping going at it, because this is the work, so to speak. This is the mastery of our energy, of our frequency, of our focus, to actually be able to be self-referential and to being islands. It's what's coming to my mind. But yeah, thank you, Danny, for sharing, playing the what if game. Yeah, what if everything works out for me? What if tomorrow I just find a new idea that makes me feel so good? What if today I feel inspired to this? What if it's totally possible for this to happen? That's something that comes from Kyle C's. It's totally possible that, or if you want even your desire, put it in the past as something that already happened, because that's a mind twist. And we don't resist things in the past. We resist things that we're projecting toward the future. But let's say a car. Just imagine, oh, I bought that car already, and it just felt so good to actually buy it and be able to just pay for it. It's done. Key in my hand. In the past, it happened. You're not projecting toward the future. It happened in the past. Little tricks like this also help if we want. And then there's the very pure, energetic work of you caring about how you feel and just making very deliberate choices. Okay, now I want to feel loving. Bring that up inside of you. Now I want to feel passionate, excited about something. Bring that up inside of you. The more that we do this, the more that we realize that we're not enslaved by outside circumstances. We're not limited at all by them. We are creating our experience from the inside out, and we create the feeling. And the more that we create these types of feelings, the more that they saturate our energy field. And our energy field is the instruction book or the instruction set for the entire unified field of what can show up for us. It's almost like we have the filters, and it's from the inside, from what we feel, that we're setting the filters. And then from the infinity of possible available solutions and experiences out there, and everything is out there, the filters that we put in our own field are the ones that tell to the unified field, this is what I'm tuning into, this is what's coming up in my experience. And that's what we start living from that moment on, when it saturates our field. So I hope this helps. I just wanted to just really ground and anchor that this is that time that we were talking about that was in the future. This is the time to actually be masters of our energy, be masters of our focus, be masters, and be aware of the choices that we're making. If we're actually giving our power away to what's happening outside and making that the power that be, or if we're bringing power from our circumstances and anything, people, thoughts even, and bringing it back inwards to our core, to our centeredness, to our state of feeling, state of being, to our choices, internal choices, and know that we are creating from the inside out instead of being in the outside in paradigm. It's now. It's exciting times and it's quite the choice that we're making now. It's moving from childhood, of letting something outside of us dictate our experience and therefore what we are creating next, to adulthood, mastery, where we're bringing our intentions, where we know, all of us here know how we create our reality. We're actually doing it. We're internalizing it, making that choice. How I feel is most important, and I know that I'm creating from this place. So let me make choices about what I allow myself to dwell in, what I allow myself to focus in, and let's just bring back into wholeness all our little bits and pieces. Unresist, don't fear the discomfort, just unresist it. Let the energy come up, fuel you, rejuvenate, regenerate you, and keep focusing on what it is that you want. Hope this was helpful. And again, these are exciting times, and I'm really happy to go through this period that we're now living with you all. Much love.